All right, so welcome to another deep dive. And today we're going to be exploring Kathryn Kuhlman's book, Nothing is Impossible with God.
Yeah.
And in this book, she shares some pretty incredible stories of healing.
Right.
And one that really stood out to me was about this young girl named Lisa Larios.
Okay.
And we're going to be taking a close look at her journey today.
It's a really powerful story, I think, especially as it's told from the perspective of Lisa's mother, Isabel.
Yeah.
And I think Kuhlman really does capture like that raw emotion of the experience, taking us through the fear and the despair right alongside the family.
Yeah. And that's what makes it so compelling, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we're not just reading about a miracle.
Right.
But we're feeling the weight of this family's struggle.
Yeah.
It starts with what seems like these simple growing pains
Right.
for Lisa,
Right.
who's a 12-year-old girl,
Mm-hmm.
and her mom tries to comfort her. But there's this lingering sense of unease, almost like a foreshadowing of this darkness to come.
Yeah, and Kuhlman even uses this imagery of Lisa being afraid of the shadows in her room.
Oh, yeah.
Which, looking back, almost feels symbolic of the looming diagnosis.
Right.
It's like this calm before the storm.
Yeah, and the storm hits pretty quickly because one day after school, Lisa's suddenly in this agonizing pain.
Right.
And there's this note from the school that urges her parents, Isabel and Javier, to take her to the doctor immediately. And that's when this whole medical mystery began.
Oh, yeah. It's this whirlwind of tests and surgeries, and doctors are just trying to figure out, what is wrong. And you can imagine the emotional toll that this takes on the family.
Yeah.
I mean, the not knowing, the fear, the desperate hope that a solution can be found.
And then comes the crushing news, the
Yeah.
diagnosis that no parent ever wants to hear. Inoperable bone cancer.
Oh, wow.
And the doctor gives Lisa just 6 months to live.
Oh, my gosh.
I can't even imagine that feeling of utter helplessness in that moment.
Yeah, Isabel talks about just feeling her world shatter. And it's just this raw, visceral grief that I think really resonates with the reader.
Right.
She's grappling with her faith, questioning everything she thought she knew.
Yeah.
It's incredibly powerful.
And then Grisu enters Bill Truitt,
Okay.
who is the Larios' neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a devout believer in Kathryn Kuhlman's healing ministry.
Right.
And he suggests taking Lisa to one of her services at the Shrine Auditorium in Los Angeles.
Okay.
Which is this massive venue known for these incredible gatherings where people would come from all over seeking healing.
Yeah. So this is where we see that tension between faith and doubt start to play out.
Yeah.
Isabel, understandably, is skeptical.
Right.
I mean, after this devastating news from the doctors,
Yeah.
it's hard to even fathom a miracle.
She's lost faith in the possibility of a cure, especially after everything they've been through.
Yeah.
But there's a part of her, however small, that clings to this hope that maybe Bill might be right.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they make the trip to the Shrine Auditorium. And you can practically feel the atmosphere as Kuhlman takes the stage.
Uh-huh.
There's just this palpable energy in the room.
Right.
A mix of anticipation and desperation.
Right.
And Lisa, which is childlike innocence,
Yeah.
even tells her mother that she sees a halo around Kuhlman's head. It's just like something straight out of a movie.
I can only imagine.
You can practically hear the choir singing and feel the collective gasp of the audience as Kuhlman begins calling out healings.
Wow. So that's where we'll leave you for now.
Okay.
On the edge of your seats, waiting to see what happens next.
All right.
Yeah. So we left off with Lisa and her family at the Shrine Auditorium with just this incredible atmosphere of faith and anticipation.
Right.
And as Kuhlman is continuing to speak, she starts sensing that a healing is taking place, right there in Lisa's section.
Right.
And she urges the person being healed to stand up and claim it.
Yeah. Now imagine you're Isabel in this moment.
Right.
Your daughter, who can barely walk,
Yeah.
is potentially being called upon to stand.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Yeah.
It's this heart-wrenching dilemma.
Right.
The fear, battling with this newfound sliver of hope.
It's such a pivotal moment.
Yeah.
Isabel is torn, but then Lisa whispers to her, "Mama, I think I should go up on the stage. I think I am being healed."
Go. Chills, right. I mean, just reading that gave me goosebumps.
Yeah.
Here's this young girl facing a terminal illness,
Right.
and yet she has this unwavering faith.
Yeah. With the help of an usher, Lisa starts making her way down the aisle.
Oh, wow.
And Bill, the ever-supportive neighbor, meets them at the stage and helps Lisa up to where Kuhlman is standing.
Can you picture that scene?
Yeah.
A young girl who just days ago was confined to a wheelchair,
Right.
now slowly, almost miraculously, walking towards the stage. The entire auditorium must have been holding its breath.
Absolutely.
Kuhlman then dedicates Lisa to God, asking her to walk, and suddenly Lisa starts running back and forth across the stage.
What a moment.
Wow, the impossible suddenly becoming possible. It's no wonder the crowd just erupts in applause as the choir begins singing Hallelujah.
I bet.
It must have felt like a scene straight out of a movie.
Oh, yeah. But amidst all the jubilation, Isabel is still hesitant.
Right.
You know, she's seen her hopes dashed before, her faith tested by the harsh reality of Lisa's diagnosis.
Yeah.
She's afraid to believe, afraid of the potential heartbreak if this turns out to be just a fleeting moment.
It's a very human response, isn't it?
Yeah.
To want to protect ourselves from disappointment.
Yeah, absolutely.
But her husband, Javier, he embraces the hope.
Right.
And Bill, unwavering in his faith, takes away Lisa's crutches, declaring her healed.
Wow.
For the rest of the evening, Lisa limps around the apartment.
Okay.
And Isabel's watching her closely, terrified that she'll collapse.
Right.
But Lisa persists, her strength seemingly growing with each step.
Wow.
And then the next morning, something incredible happens.
What's that?
Isabel calls Javier to the window and points down to the courtyard. And there's Lisa, riding her bike, laughing and playing with other children.
Wow. That's amazing.
It's a picture of pure joy and resilience.
Yeah.
The kind that melts away even the deepest skepticism. It's a moment that just speaks to the power of faith and the possibility of miracles.
But the story doesn't end there.
Right.
In fact, it takes an even more intriguing turn when they return to the hospital for a follow-up.
Let's pause here for a moment
Okay.
and consider this. Isabel has witnessed this incredible event at the Shrine Auditorium.
Right.
She's seen Lisa riding her bike with her own eyes.
Yeah.
And yet, she still takes Lisa back to the hospital, almost bracing herself for disappointment.
Right.
What do you think is going through her mind at this point?
It really speaks to the power of doubt, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Even in the face of what seems like irrefutable evidence, the human mind can still cling to skepticism.
Right.
Especially when it comes to something as profound as a miracle.
So they're at the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
What happens next? What do the doctors have to say about all of this?
Well, get this. The medical team is stunned. They've run all sorts of tests.
Right.
And the results are simply astounding. The tumor, which was deemed inoperable, is shrinking.
Hold on. The doctors who had given Lisa just 6 months to live
Right.
are now talking about evidence of healing.
Exactly.
This must be a complete shock to them.
Absolutely. It defies all medical logic.
Yeah.
Remember, this was a time when such spontaneous remission was virtually unheard of.
Yeah.
Especially with such an aggressive form of cancer.
I can only imagine the range of emotions in that room.
Right.
The doctors grappling with their scientific understanding.
Yeah.
Isabel still struggling with her doubt.
Right.
And Lisa, this innocent child, at the center of this whole medical mystery.
And it's here that Kuhlman's narrative dives into an even deeper exploration of faith and doubt and the intersection of the spiritual and the scientific.
Okay, so we left off with the doctors just completely baffled by Lisa's shrinking tumor.
Yeah, they can't explain it, can they?
No.
I mean, even in the face of hard medical evidence, they're struggling to reconcile what they're seeing with their scientific understanding.
Yeah, and Dr. Higgins, Lisa's physician, initially suggests that maybe Lisa's body is developing some kind of resistance to the cancer.
Right.
But even she admits that it's incredibly rare.
Yeah.
Especially in such a short time frame.
Especially with this kind of cancer.
Right.
Yeah.
And she acknowledges the possibility of a connection to the Kuhlman service.
Right.
But you can tell she's just like wrestling with how to make sense of it all.
Yeah, I mean, it really highlights that clash between faith and scientific reasoning, doesn't it?
It does.
It's like both sides are looking at the same picture, but interpreting it through completely different lenses.
Yeah, and Isabel, in this moment, finds herself relating to a story from the Bible.
Okay.
The one about Thomas, the disciple who doubted Jesus' resurrection until he saw the physical proof.
Right.
And Isabel admits she needs that tangible evidence.
Yeah.
Those x-rays showing the tumor receding before she can fully believe.
It makes you think, doesn't it? How often do we, like Thomas, need that concrete proof before accepting something that seems beyond our comprehension?
Yeah, it's a very human struggle.
Yeah. And what's interesting is that even Dr. Higgins, steeped in her scientific training,
Right.
is touched by Lisa's recovery.
Oh, wow.
And she tells Isabel that the entire hospital staff is rejoicing.
That's amazing.
Even in their skepticism, they can't deny the extraordinary nature of what's happened.
It's a beautiful reminder that sometimes the most profound experiences can bridge even the seemingly widest divides.
Yeah.
So Lisa goes back to school, the tumor continues to shrink,
Okay.
and life, as much as possible, returns to a new normal.
Right.
It's like the impossible has become possible, just as the title of Kuhlman's book suggests.
But Kuhlman doesn't end the story there.
Oh.
She goes on to highlight the ripple effects of Lisa's healing,
Okay.
both on the family and those around them.
Right. It becomes more than just one girl's healing.
Yeah.
It's a testament to the potential for something larger, something that transcends the individual experience.
Exactly. And Isabel, reflecting on their journey, shares this really profound insight.
Okay.
She says that she believes that God allowed this illness to bring their family closer together
Oh, wow.
and deepen their faith.
Okay.
She sees it as a test, a trial that, while incredibly painful, ultimately led to a stronger bond and a deeper understanding of God's love.
It's a reminder that sometimes the most challenging experiences can lead to the greatest growth.
For sure.
It's like that saying, the darkest nights produce the brightest stars.
And Isabel also draws this beautiful analogy between her husband's artistry and their experience.
Oh, wow.
Javier, who is a painter, believes that shadows are what bring out the character in a drawing.
Interesting.
And he applies that same principle to their lives,
Okay.
suggesting that the dark times, the shadows they've walked through, have only served to reveal the strength and resilience of their family.
It's a powerful way of reframing their story, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not about denying the pain or pretending it didn't happen. It's about finding meaning in the darkness,
Yeah.
acknowledging that those difficult experiences have shaped them into who they are today.
And then Kuhlman takes a step further, connecting this personal story to a larger question that has haunted humanity for centuries.
Huh.
Why do we suffer? Why do bad things happen, especially to those who seem least deserving?
It's a question that we all ask.
Yeah, it's a question that Lisa's family is asked repeatedly.
Right.
And Isabel, drawing from a passage in the Bible about a man born blind,
Yeah.
offers this perspective.
Mm.
She believes that Lisa's illness was allowed so that God could be glorified through her healing.
It's a bold statement.
It is.
One that might not resonate with everyone.
Right.
But it speaks to a belief that even in the midst of suffering, there can be a larger purpose,
Right.
a divine plan
Mhm.
that we may not fully understand but can choose to trust.
It challenges us to look beyond the immediate pain and see the potential for something greater to emerge from the darkness.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that even when we question, even when we doubt, there's still room for faith, for hope, for the belief that something good can come from even the most difficult experiences.
So after hearing Lisa's story and exploring these different layers of meaning woven throughout,
Yeah.
what stands out to you the most? What resonates with you on a personal level?
I think for me, it's the message of hope that shines through.
Okay.
If nothing truly is impossible with God, as Kuhlman so passionately believes,
Right.
then what possibilities exist for us in our own lives?
Yeah.
What challenges can we overcome?
Really good.
What dreams can we dare to believe in?
It's a call to embrace faith,
Yeah.
not as a blind leap into the unknown,
Right.
but as a source of strength and resilience when facing adversity.
Absolutely.
It's about believing that even in the darkest moments, there's a light shining, a potential for healing, a chance for transformation.
Lisa's story ultimately reminds us that even when things seem hopeless,
Yeah.
there's always reason to hope.
That's right.
It leaves us with this lingering thought. If God can heal a young girl from an inoperable tumor, what might he be capable of doing in your life if you simply open your heart to the possibility?
That's a powerful question to ponder, isn't it? And a perfect note on which to end our deep dive.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us on this exploration of faith, healing, and the human experience.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
Until next time, keep seeking, keep questioning, and keep believing in the power of the impossible.